There's a spectrum of lives or of minds. On one end is deep, and on the other end is wide. Those who are leading a life of breadth often feel lost or scattered, and they often are made to feel lesser. And I think that should change. When I was graduating college, I had a crisis. So I had 9 friends, and 7 of those were already accepted in PhD programs. So, to my mind back then, they, one, knew what they were good at, and two, knew what they wanted to do with the rest of their lives. I was so far from that. I had many interests. I studied economics, but I took classes in linguistics and psychology and physics, and I liked to draw, and I played music in the streets, and I did a whole bunch of things. The problem was that I was not exceptional at any of those things. So in my mind back then, I'm fucked, right? I don't know what to do. I don't know what I want to do, and I'm not sure what I'm good at or what I would like to invest time in getting good at. And I had a real crisis of confidence. And then I had an epiphany. So I looked around and I found that even though I'm surrounded by people who have depth of interest and of skill, there are very few people around me that had the breadth that I felt my life had at the time and my interests had at the time. And I felt that this breadth is not a scattering of attention or a scattering of skill. This scattering in itself is a skill. And I felt that this, if I could figure out how to capitalize on that and how to explore that and kind of double down on it, then I might be onto something. So the ending to that college story is that I basically tried to figure out what industries, what jobs, where there would be some central thing that you're doing, but for a whole bunch of different industries, a whole bunch of different companies. And I didn't know that there were so many of those around. Back then, I thought that was going to be consulting, investment banking, advertising, or law. And what I ended up doing is that I worked at an investment bank doing asset management analysis. And what that does is that it basically asks you to come up with value for a company, for a stock. But that meant that I would have to learn about this company and the whole industry and the whole country that this company is in, and basically apply this set of skills, valuation, to a whole bunch of kind of scattered at first industries and companies. And that kind of played to my strength that I was very much at home with the uncertainty that comes from knowing nothing about something and kind of getting up to speed quickly on it, and it helped me see value in the breadth of things that I was interested in and that I was trying to get good at. Most of the people that I know or have come across are drawing lines. You can zigzag, but the overall arc of their career is a line. They find themselves kind of with a quantitative streak, and they're interested in engineering, so they start studying engineering at school, and then they graduate and find a job as an engineer or a computer scientist or whatever, and 10, 15 years later, that's what they're doing. Um, White people really suck at doing that. What they do is that they are drawing circles, and you need to realize that you're drawing these circles and kind of see them in perspective. As these kind of scattered and circles that are not very close to each other starts getting drawn, you have a circle for technology and a circle for math and a circle for music, and they are far apart enough, but as you continue drawing them over time, these circumferences close up, and you start getting these intersections between the circles. And in my experience, these intersections have been some of the most rewarding parts of my life, and some of the most valuable parts of your skill set business wise. There aren't many people, there are a lot of people who are very good at drawing a line, and they are going to be probably a much better engineer than you can. But if you are interested in coding as well as design, and you're not the best at either, but you're good enough to kind of create this intersection between the two, then you can enjoy and market this intersection as a UX designer who knows how to code. You can see the value of a line, 2, 3 years into a career. Circles tend to take a bit more than that to kind of materialize into these intersections where you find value. And in order to excel at drawing lines, you need like focus and consistency. In order to excel at drawing circles, you need curiosity and disciplined learning. And drawing circles can be a lot more fun. But the downside is that it, as I said, takes more time. That's one. Two, the end game isn't clear. It's not always obvious where this will get you. And it's more often difficult as a wide person drawing circles to find a job. But if you find the right job, you will have so much fun and bring so much value that is kind of more than the sum of your parts. And in terms of the question that's usually on the minds of any young people that I talk to who kind of share this affliction, is that they are not sure what to do with their life, and I think that right now there are more opportunities than ever before. When I graduated, kind of startup culture was not the way it is right now. No one was hiring generalists. That word was not part of the lexicon even of the business kind of positions available. And I think, speaking of startup culture, I think that white people make great entrepreneurs, because in order for you to become a successful entrepreneur, you often have to draw on so many different skills and be curious about so many different things, and actively engage with kind of wear many different hats, and a person with breadth, kind of they lend themselves to being that so much, in my opinion. Number one is explore, but be deliberate. Don't wander aimlessly. Think about how the things you're interested in and the things you're trying to get good at mesh together. Find industries and jobs that are at the intersections. So being deliberate is very important. Number two, invest some time. When you pick up something new, stay with it, I would say, for at least 6 months before you hop on to the next thing. It helps you kind of gauge how long it would take you to get to a certain level. You don't have to be, an expert at everything, obviously, or you won't have the kind of bandwidth for that. But take your time with the few things that you decide to get into or study or build as a skill. Three, read books. Don't spend all your time on YouTube, or actually worse, TikTok. You get a sense that you are learning so many things and you're kind of quenching that thirst for variety and versatility and all of that. But that's an illusion. I think books allow you to expand more deliberately. Books are about a certain topic, is like someone sitting with you for 6 or 7 hours, talking to you with focus and structure about this one topic that allows you to think more deeply and explore more deliberately, which I think is essential as you kind of build out this portfolio of skills or interests. Four, don't be afraid to dig deeper in one of the circles, or better yet, in one of the intersections. That might be your calling. This might be, because this doesn't mean that you cannot settle for anything that you really get good at. It just means that you interact with the world in a different mode, and sometimes what that means is that it takes you 10 years to find this intersection, and when you found it, take the time to understand it more and learn more about it. And if it's the right thing, then go all in. That's you will always have that breadth. You will always have this versatility in approach and in knowledge and in skills. And if you find something that kind of calls on you to invest more, then don't be afraid to do that. And number five, don't take this as an excuse to be bad at a bunch of things. Not being the best doesn't mean being mediocre. You need to take your time with the skills and the fields that you get into in order to identify what being the best looks like and where you need to be below that, because you might not be able to be the best at five things, right? But that doesn't mean be bad at 10. It means choose wisely and again, be deliberate. So you're choosing wisely as you explore what to invest in and what to explore more and what to drop completely. And you need to hold yourself to the highest standard you can given the amount of effort that you're willing to put into something, right? So it's back to the what I guess was number three, where about investing time, is that it takes you some time to figure out what mediocrity might look like within a sphere of some kind, and you need to kind of make sure that you are aiming at clearing that. So in the end, I think that your width is what defines you. It's not a weakness and it's not a flaw. It can actually be a superpower that takes time and effort and deliberate design to make it flourish. That doesn't mean meander aimlessly, it means you explore deliberately. So stay curious, keep drawing circles, find those intersections, and invest in them.